Col Blue Vodka. It is one of my latest obsessions. And what am I making with it? Penne alla vodka with prosciutto and peas using penne made from chickpeas, which is super healthy. I'm trying to be health conscious here, guys. I am starting with some butter and olive oil over medium heat. And I'm just gonna give it a good stir, making sure it's not too hot. And you can tell it was a little hot there, so I had to lower it. There, I'm adding the shallots, and I'm gonna cook the shallots for about 3 minutes or so because I want the shallots to develop some sweetness, and that's only going to be achieved by cooking it on like a low heat. And here you see me, I am adding the prosciutto. I went with prosciutto di Parma. I find it a little less salty, and then I'm gonna give it a stir. And as I was stirring it there, I realized I really love prosciutto. I'm gonna add a little bit more. So there I went. My hands are very clean, by the way. And I added more prosciutto. And then I again went and stirred it to make sure that everything cooked thoroughly. And once that was cooked thoroughly, I added my vodka. Now, one of the things to note is you have to pour the vodka in slowly, just little bits at a time. If you go nuts and you throw the whole thing in there, well, it's just gonna go whoosh, and you're gonna have a crazy mess, and you might even burn yourself. It might go up in flames. You just don't know. And I'm gonna go ahead and allow the vodka to cook down about halfway. So it'll just evaporate about 50%, and then I'm gonna be breaking up the prosciutto as I go. So if you can see, I'm trying to just kind of attack the little prosciutto pieces. And then once it's done, once it's halfway evaporated, I'm gonna add the chicken stock and the crushed tomatoes. And I'm going to make sure that everything is very well stirred together. And once that's done, I'm gonna add the garlic. Now you can add the garlic with the shallots, but what happened here was I forgot, I'm gonna be honest. And then here I'm adding the heavy cream, and I'm gonna make sure it's stirred all the way through. So if you can see all those swirls are telling you it's not 100% mixed through. So just keep going, keep going, keep going until it is 100% mixed through in one color. And at this point, I made it a little bit higher in heat because I wanted to come up to a boil soon. I added the peas. And then after I added the peas, they were frozen peas that I defrosted. I'm just gonna let it come to a boil. I'm gonna cover it, and it'll take literally a couple minutes. Now I'm adding the penne that is already cooked al dente. And then here, I'm just gonna make sure that everything's incorporated 100% together. And here I am adding my basil. It's fresh basil that I cut and shredded really, really fine. You can also use semi-dried. Next, I am going to add some Parmesan, but before that, I made sure that I shut off the stove, because if I put in that Parmesan, it'll get all like stringy, the cheese, and you do not want that. So I'm going to give it a good stir, and I love a lot of Parmesan in my penne alla vodka. So eventually, I kind of tend to add more. So I did that. It's a little messy, but anyway, it's just perfect. I asked my husband, who was working, to come and just shoot this little piece for me so that you can see me biting into it. And trust me, you should be jealous because this was so freaking good. Full recipe at belquistwist.com.